Welcome back to the Packer Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Corrigan, and regardless of how you found me, thank you so much for being here. We're diving deep into the heart of Packers training camp, dissecting the first week and a half of intense practice sessions, culminating in family night on Saturday night. In this episode, we're turning the spotlight on how the offense is performing. Packers offense still trying to find its rhythm and timing, and the defense is kind of stolen the show. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Should we be concerned about the offense? Is there really a cause for concern? Adam Schein, alleged expert, says that Jordan Love can't play football. Should we take him seriously? But before we do anything, big news. Rashan Gary has been cleared by the doctors and the training staff, and he is off the PUP list. He is back and participating in practice today. This is huge and great news for the Packers. Let's get the Adam Schein part of this episode out of the way first, as I hate talking about guys like him. Adam Schein has his own show, and he had Matt Schneidman on. Matt is a respected beat reporter for The Athletic covering the Green Bay Packers. Matt knows his stuff. Matt was honest and said Jordan Love hadn't been perfect, or something to that extent, and there were still some concerns about him. This was reporting from basically 7 days into camp. And obviously, there wasn't enough information to make a judgment whether Jordan Love is going to be a Hall of Famer or, on the flip side, if he's going to be a complete bust. Either way, you're not making that judgment in 7 days when you haven't even gone against real competition. But Adam Schein took this and came out, and his take is that Jordan Love can't play football and it will be a debacle in Green Bay this season. Adam is paid to have an opinion. That's his job. Maybe this is just a way to get people to notice him, which I suspect is probably the case. But for a guy who, I'm told, is a Green Bay Packer fan, this came off as just being lazy. I won't say he's doing any reporting because this is just a hot take. He clearly hadn't done much more than talk to Matt and made a wild take on Jordan Love. He had actually done his homework, spend some time, read all the reports coming out of camp, watch the videos that are coming out of camp, and he would know that this is just a terrible take. Now let's talk about the offense and Jordan Love. Yes, the defense has been better than the offense so far. This is not a surprise, and it shouldn't be. Defense should be better than the offense at this point. This offense has a first-time starter at quarterback with one start in his NFL career. He has 3 returning receivers, each with 1 year of experience in the NFL, and none of them has played in a full season. The rest of the receivers on the roster are rookies or undrafted free agents or just have 0 NFL experience. He also has 2 rookie tight ends. Defense, on the other hand, has lots of experience and also has 8 first-round draft picks. Any offense, much less the Packers, is going to struggle until all that youth gets on the same page. But we have seen some wins by the offense. We have seen some flashes by the rookies. And we should expect to see them start to even things out with the defense. And starting this week, they'll get to see some new faces and some unfamiliar faces as the Packers will have joint practices with the Bengals this week. But how has Jordan Love looked in practice? Honestly, there have been some flashes of both good and bad. as you would expect from any young quarterback. The main problem that most people have been talking about is the inconsistency on his throws. He's been off target on some passes, and he's going to need to clear that up before the season starts. Whether this has been due to being inaccurate with his throw, or miscommunication on routes, or bad route running, it's hard to say in some cases. He has been hitting some really nice throws, but just a few too many of those have been off target, and hitting those throws in the games will make a big difference in whether the Packers are putting up wins or losses. So that's been the big negative on Jordan Love so far. On the positive side, by all accounts, Jordan has been making good decisions. He seems to have good command and understanding of the offense, and is definitely a lot more confident and sure of himself. He hasn't been making bad reads or forcing the ball in the places he shouldn't. If he was out there looking confused, throwing the ball into coverage, turning the ball over, I'd be way more concerned. I know he works hard in the off season, and I know he put in the work to get himself ready for this season. So, Packer fans, don't panic. So, who has been standing out so far in camp, and how are the position battles shaping up? Here are just a few of the guys that are definitely getting noticed, and how some of the position battles are going. On the offensive side of the ball, at tight end, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft have been standing out. Musgrave, second round pick, he has shown exactly why the Packers drafted him. He's been a problem for the defense in the passing game. His speed at tight end uh, has definitely been evident. Tucker Kraft also making some nice contested catches in practice and done a nice job run blocking. Tyler Davis, returning tight end, he's been pretty good in practice as well. Up front, one of the position battles, right tackle, Josh Nijman and Zach Tom are still alternating. Kind of a twist to the whole thing is coming at the center position. Josh Myers has been struggling at center, and Zach Tom has been alternating at that position as well. Aside from some struggles blocking for Josh Myers, there have also been 3 botched snaps that he's been a part of with the quarterbacks. This absolutely cannot happen. You're in the NFL. I was a quarterback in high school and college. Botched snaps were not acceptable at that level, much less now that you're getting paid millions of dollars to do it. Not okay. If you can't get the snap right, you're not going to be on the field. So that may help clear up the right tackle position if Zach Tom ends up being the starting center. Second year player Sean Ryan, who really had a bad rookie year, really struggled. I mentioned him as being a guy who could play himself off the roster. He's done exactly the opposite. He is actually showed up and is really doing a nice job in camp. He's been one of the few guys who've been able to block Devontae Wyatt so far, and has done such a nice job. He could be in contention to be the next man up if something happens to one of the starters at guard. A wide receiver. Most of the wide receivers are doing a nice job. Just wanted to mention Romeo Doubs. His route running, his releases, he worked hard on those in the offseason, and you can really tell. Has really looked good in his route running so far in camp. On the defensive side of the ball, defensive line, just mentioned him, Devontae Wyatt has looked really good. He didn't get a whole lot of opportunity as a rookie, first round pick, but he is really showing up in camp so far, causing a lot of problems for the offensive line. Lucas Van Ness, this year's first round pick, has had a great start to his camp. He's been tough so far versus the run, holding the edge, and kind of been a wrecking crew rushing the passer, working very hard. Saw an article about him that he's spending a lot of time at the facility. And at one point, I think he was a week in and into the camp, and he had eaten all but one meal at the facility, which means he's pretty much camping out there trying to learn and get better. Another two rookies on the defensive line, Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks, both of them have also looked really good, uh, both against the run and the pass. Good to hear. At linebacker, Quay Walker, in his second year, is looking a lot more comfortable. He's put in the work. He's thinking less and reacting more, trusting his instincts, and just means he's going to play faster. In the secondary, not unexpectedly, uh, we would expect this, but Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander, both looking really good so far in practice. We can feel pretty confident that those two will lock down the corner positions. At safety, which is a position battle that is getting a lot of attention, right now it looks like Darnell Savage and Jonathan Owens are the top two, with Rudy Ford and Tavarius Moore still getting a lot of time. This is not a done deal. Still got preseason games to go through, and that is where things will be decided. Rookie Anthony Johnson Jr., not really in the mix to be a starter. He's still learning, but we'll see how he does as the season progresses. At the kickers, rookie Anders Carlson, who really struggled with inconsistency over the first week and a half of practice. He was money on family night, going 9 for 9 or 8 for 9 or something like that. And from what I saw today, had another good day today. His kicks are strong. I guess he was kicking 53, 54-yard field goals on family night, and those kicks could have been good from 65. Finally, a few roster moves. Jonathan Garvin, Jeff Cotton, Ladarius Hamilton, and Danny Etling have all been released. Jeff Cotton was hurt, so it was unfortunate for him. Not too surprised about Jonathan Garvin, considering the depth at the edge position and his absence in the offseason. Danny Etling released. We already have QB1 and QB2. QB3 looks now to be USFL addition Alex Magoo, likely destined for the practice squad. Ladarius Hamilton was probably going to be competing for a bottom of the roster spots with some of the younger guys. They'll bring in some other guys to compete, but this is all about getting a little bit younger, and they already knew what Ladarius Hamilton could do. I'll be back on Thursday to talk a little bit about the rookies and how they're doing so far. But until then, have a great week, be safe, and go Pack Go.